especially if you're in the UK, if you're even just in a different state than me, make sure you have a lawyer check it out. But man, it's a lot cheaper to have a lawyer check a contract than it is to make a contract.
In this video, we are talking with Kyle Stanley about community. Now, community is big to me. Boostly was founded on community, and it's something that has meant that this business can grow. It's on the back end of the community. You build the community first and then the business comes second. And in this video, I wanted to chat to Kyle Stanley because he has done just that. He's got the second largest Airbnb Facebook group that is out there, built on community. He has been in this industry since 2019. He's grown his portfolio to around about 70 units now, spread it around California and United States. And he is now coaching his community. And today we're going to talk about that community because I've seen it from the inside. I love it. I think it's great. And I want more people to find out about it. So we're going to chat to Kyle. He's going to give us the big intro and all that cool stuff. The link that I want for you to go and check out is boostly.co.uk/Kyle offer. boostly.co.uk/Kyle offer. You get 3 days for free with that. It's limited time. Go and check it out. Please, please, please. It could potentially change your short-term rental business. All right. Thank you very much for coming on to the podcast, Kyle. So let's get started. We're going to talk about all the cool things that are happening in your world in 2023. But before that, could you just give us a super quick intro, tell everybody where you are in the world, how you got into short-term rentals, and then we'll dive in with a couple of questions.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked to be on the show, man. Really excited. I feel like I've known you pretty long time. I mean, we finally got to meet in person this last year in Nashville, and that was awesome. And just so everyone knows, Mark is a lot taller in person than like you actually think he is. How tall are you, Mark? Like 6'3"?
Yeah, I am. And this is the thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people say it's because where the camera is, and the camera
looking down.
Yeah, so it's at the eye line.
Yeah.
So, so when you meet me and I'm like up here, it's
fun fact. People probably didn't know that. Yeah. But yeah, Mark, I started in short-term rentals in 2019, but really my story and journey as an entrepreneur started back in 2011. I was a sports anchor at the time for a local TV station, and was kind of fed up with being, undervalued and just like anyone else in a 9-to-5 job, right? Like I didn't like showing up, being told when to go there, how to do it, when to do it, and just being undervalued. And for that reason, I started my own business. But for the next 9 years of running that business, I realized I really had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't know any business. I didn't take a business class in college. I was just trying to figure things out. And all I knew the entire time was that I wanted to live a lifestyle that was by my design, not by someone else's. I didn't want to keep on building up someone else's empire. And so I just had that as the goal the entire time. So whether it was starting a business, going into an MLM, doing some sales jobs, trying all these different things, the goal was always the same. It was passive residual income to let me be able to provide for my family and travel with my family and live that life by design. And when I got into flipping houses in 2019, I got my second house and I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep this and I'm going to try short-term rentals. And people thought I was crazy. I'm in Fresno, California. If you've never been to Fresno, there's not much going on. So people are like, wait, you want to do a vacation rental? I was like, no, I want to do a short-term rental, and very big difference. And made $2,000 my first month after all my expenses. And I was off and going. I bought a course, learned how to do the arbitrage and the co-hosting model. And fast forward 3 years later, we're over 70 properties. And, life looks a lot different. And so the blessing too has been that I have an amazing team that allows me to be able to really go in and pour back into the community. I have a free YouTube channel, podcast. We have the second largest Facebook group in the world for Airbnb hosts, Airbnb masterminds. And that's where I put most of my time into now these days.
Yeah, it's amazing. I feel like people like yourself and Mike Shulgin and Ryan Luke, I feel like you have got this skill set behind the scenes that is ingrained into you, but you could have put your mind to anything, like any vertical of business that is out there, but you fell into short-term rentals. And this is why you succeed, because of the systems and the structures and the mindset that you have. And to see it grow, I mean, that number just keeps getting bigger all the time. I mean, like the first time we started speaking, you're about 30, dropped about to go into 40, and now it's 70. So it's been amazing to see from like this side onwards. Yeah. So well done. And so you've built this cool business. You've managed to get that freedom. we're talking off air about the plans and stuff for this year, and you're getting that freedom, and which is really cool. And now obviously you've got the community, and you are showing people what you do with YouTube and podcasts and the Facebook group. And what we're going to talk about today is the other new thing that's about to happen, which is the 6FF membership, which is basically the new thing that you're doing. So tell me a little bit about the community. Tell me a little bit about the membership, and what can people expect, and what's the big plan for this year, and why, most importantly, are you doing it? So it's like 3 questions in one here. So let's deep dive into this.
Yeah. And before I do answer that question, I want to just back up to something you said there. And I can tell you, I wasn't just born naturally with what you think would just apply to just anything with business. I got to tell you, Mark, I mean, like that 9 years of trying to figure out business was a struggle. And I think the biggest thing I worked on that entire 9 years was myself. And so for anyone that's listening, that's like, oh, you know, Mark's got something special, or Kyle's got something special, or anyone that Mark's had on the show, they've got something special. It's not the case. It's just, we were willing to go through the crap in order to be better on the other side. Right. But yeah, so this STR 6-figure formula, you know, to be completely honest, this has been an evolution over the last year, to where eventually, you know, I was doing a lot of one-on-one coaching, Mark, and people were getting results, and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. I mean, you know, one of my top students, he got 50 properties in his first 5 months, collected over $800,000 on Airbnb alone in his first 7 months. And it's like, you know, that's a life-changing experience. But my problem was I could only have this capacity of helping like 5, 6, 7 people at a time. And I tried the group coaching, but you know what, just the entire time, it just didn't really sit right with me. A lot of people out there, you know, they charge the $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 for group coaching, and they get results. But for me, like, I'm just always like, all right, I want to make sure that this is something that I can help the masses on. And it doesn't have to be, hey, I got to go get a loan or a second mortgage on my house in order to start this business. And so, one of the things, and I think you are a big proponent of this too, Mark. One of the things that's a goal of mine is, in this year of 2023, I want to help 2,000 hosts just level up their game and be better hosts, because this industry, unfortunately, as you know, is probably the highest income producing industry that it's not filled with a bunch of people who are getting trained and are getting, you know, getting the tools to know how to be an actual business owner. They're just like, okay, I can go throw my property on Airbnb and start making money. And before you know it, you know, you got people who have full-time jobs that aren't giving guests the attention they need, aren't giving the property the attention it needs. And then for that reason, you have a lot of pissed off neighbors. And so there's this really bad rain cloud over the short-term rental industry. And one of my goals is, you know, I have 150,000 people in my Facebook group, and I was like, I'm not helping these people enough. And so what can I develop? And to me, the answer was the 6-figure formula membership for $49 a month. People get a community, they get a course, they get access to me and my podcast guests, and they get exclusive discounts to the top softwares. By the way, hint, hint, including Boostly in our short-term rental 6-figure formula. And so for me, now I'm seeing, Mark, a lot of people coming into this community that not only want to build that large business, but we have, like, you know, recently we had a single mom that joined the group that has 5 properties, and she's like, hey, I just want to know how to be able to make this a little bit easier so I can spend more time with my kids. And I'm just having to answer questions from guests all the time. I'm having to do all these things. And you know, to me, like, that's more of the kind of person we're helping now. It's the active operator and the people who are just starting as well, who want to grow a business, just so we can be a more solid industry together.
This is why I wanted to get you on, because you're right. Like, my goal is to help 1 million hosts cut down on their over-reliance on Airbnb. And when I first got started, I was doing the one-on-one, and it was great because when you first get started, you know what works for you. Like, you sit there at your computer, you build your team, and then when you start to go down this world of helping people, you think, well, is it me? Is it just work for me, or could this work for others? And so you start to show others, and you go one-on-one, because that's the safe bet. If you go one-on-one, you can spend a bit more time with them. You can really drum in the systems and the structures and the things you've got in place, and then you can see the results, if the results are there. When the results grow, it's go, this is fantastic, this is great. Yeah. But because it works, then the word of mouth spreads. And because the word of mouth spreads and you've got more people messaging you saying, hey, can you do this for me? And it gets to the point where it gets really overwhelming because there's only one of you. And that's when you're at that sort of pivotal moment. I could have gone down one way and built an agency doing that, or we could have gone to the one-to-many model. And that's what Booster did years ago. And this is what you're doing here. And like I say, you've tried different types of coaching, and this is the one that you're settling on, which is perfect. It fits you, it fits the group, and it fits everybody. And I really like it. And I've been able to dip in. I've been very lucky to dip in over the last year at several different times and sort of lend a little hand and do little things here and there. And it's been awesome to see. And I know the impact and the benefit that it does have. So which is why I want to get you on the podcast to spread the word about it. So just break it down. So when they join, this isn't for people who haven't got started. This is for everybody. This is not just for those that are looking to get going. This is even for hosts that have got started and are wanting to simply level up. Because you're right. The problem is that in 2021, so many people got involved in this. And so many people got involved but didn't have the hospitality first mindset. And they got in thinking this is a quick buck, and they've not gone in with the right attitude. And this is where complaints happen. This is where the bad eggs. This is the TikTok videos that you see where you've got an influencer or a content creator walking around saying, what the frig am I doing here? This is crazy. And these are the bad eggs. So this is about leveling up to make sure this industry doesn't get, really hard done by from people that are bringing it down. So walk us through, Ben. What do they get when they join? And more importantly, how can they join?
Yeah. And funny side story, I just got tagged by someone I don't even know in a large Facebook group the other day, and they were like, oh, it's because of people like Kyle Stanley who's teaching you how to, avoid all the laws and do arbitrage and like break the rules. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's just, it's disappointing because, a lot of people have taught that. I remember like one of the first courses I bought in short-term rentals was literally teaching you how to do this without telling the landlord and like go under the rug. And I was like, oh my gosh, that just feels so wrong. And it's unfortunate. And that's not what you're getting with the six-figure formula. We're getting the right way to do this business. You're being taught how to run a business. You're not being taught how to run an Airbnb. You're being taught how to develop a business, whether that's one property or 70 properties, which we actually did just have someone who has 70 properties join the six-figure formula. And the reason is, it's because if you're looking to level up, or you're looking to create more systems, or you're looking to be able to just figure out how to get that competitive edge in your market, like that's what we're doing. So they're getting a course, Mark. It's called the Kickstart course. And that course is 9 modules, about 15 hours of just all of the things that I've learned over the years, brain dumped and organized into one course. And the resources in there as well is just wild. Like, we have checklists, we have templates, we have scripts, we have calculators. If you want to, know the script on how to be able to hire a good cleaner, it's in there. If you want to know the script on how to talk to a landlord to convince them to either be a co-host or to do arbitrage, it's in there. We have actual recorded meetings with landlords as well. And then, I think the biggest thing is like all the contracts. I tell everyone, especially if you're in the UK, if you're even just in a different state than me, make sure you have a lawyer check it out. But man, it's a lot cheaper to have a lawyer check a contract than it is to make a contract. And so all that's right there for you. So they get the course, which, just to be completely clear, I used to sell that for $1,500 and now it's part of the $49 per month. So nice. Pretty awesome. Then they get access to me because in the community, where if they post, it's on Facebook. If they post anything, anyone in the community can respond, but I'm going in there twice a day and I'm responding to things. Plus once a week, I'm also doing a Q&A. You submit your questions ahead of time and I'm answering them live on our live Q&A every Monday night. And then I interview people like Mark once a week. I just had, Noble Crawford, I had Ryan Bakey, I've had people every single week that you're following our podcast, The Fearless Investor, you'll hear me talk about it and say, hey, we're going live in our six-figure formula. And then we actually, after the podcast is done, stay on another 10 to 15 minutes with that guest so that you can get your questions answered by them.
It's a great
probably.
Love
yeah,
that.
and
Love
that yeah, and that was a fun one for me because it's like, hey, now we're getting questions from people that are really invested in growing their business and not just looking for some free advice, which a lot of people kind of are these days. And then the last one for me was my baby project on this whole thing, and that was going to people like Mark, like HostAway, like AirDNA, STR Insights, all these different software companies, and saying we're going to have the best STR community of people that want to build their business, and they're going to need your software, so they deserve the best prices that you can give. And so we have exclusive discounts to all of these softwares that no one else is getting. For example, Price Labs is giving a 25% discount up to 10 listings. They're not doing that anywhere else. And so I was able to get all of them on board with us. And if you're a member of the Six Figure Formula, you get that discount. If you're not a member, or if you cancel anytime, you do lose that discount, and you lose, obviously everything else there. But that's why I wanted to keep it such a low price, because man, for 49 bucks a month, you can literally get one room booked on Airbnb for one night and get that paid for every month.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And also as well, if you go to Boostly, so you should know how to spell that, boostly.co.uk/Kyle, so Kyle's first name, and then offer, so OFFER. This is really cool. So obviously Kyle's a big believer of it. I'm a big fan of it. And there's so many people that are a big fan of it. But we know that when there's something like this, because there are so many different offers that are out there, and what Kyle has graciously done, and this is for a limited time, so make sure you go and check it out, boostly.co.uk/Kyle offer. You can test it out for 3 days, totally free. Test it out for 3 days, get the lay of the land, check it all out, make sure that you like it, which obviously you will, which is awesome. So one of the biggest reasons why people don't sort of take that jump, take that leap, take that thief is that it goes, well, if I put the money down, am I going to enjoy it, etc. But you can sign up 3 days. And what was the decision making behind that? Because I think it's genius. I think it's really good. What was the thinking making behind that?
Yeah, and just so everyone's clear, on day 4, if you haven't canceled, you will get charged the $49. I don't want anyone to be like, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen. It's on there. It's on the page too. Honestly, Mark, I kind of put myself in the shoes of everyone, and I'm like, I literally put the value down of all this, and I'm like, this is more than a $10,000 value, and you're saying that like I'm only going to get it for $49 a month. And it was kind of like I feel like it's almost too good to be true kind of thing. So I was like, well, then let's just let people try it for 3 days to see it just is as good as we say it is, and that it's not too good to be true. It's even better than what we say it is. So it's just kind of like what you said, right? Like a lot of people have that fear of like, even if it's just $1, like, I got to spend any money, and there's that fear of loss of like, am I going to like it? And so there you go. You can try it out for free. And I mean, I think just so you know, I mean, the good news, bad news of this is that you're probably going to love it. The bad news is you're probably going to be spending $49 a month because you're going to love it so much. Like I'm just telling you right now, we've had 350 people join in the last 3 months. And I think we've had about 20 cancel. Like everyone loves it.
That's a good churn rate. That's a good,
yeah.
Well, again, as well, you say $49, it is an investment. If you, with just the information that I've seen, if you just implement like 1 or 2 things into level up your business, it will have a profound effect. And just by putting Price Labs in, so many people still don't have dynamic pricing in their business. It is bananas to me. And so if you've got a solution like Price Labs, which is one of the co-authors of the blueprint, so we love them, you will definitely get your return on investment, even if you just tap into Price Labs, which is epic. So again, I'll give it boostly.co.uk, boostly.co.uk/Kyle offer. Go and check it out. Go be part of six figure. Go and get all the goodness and level up your business. Before we let you go, because there's a lot of things happening in your world, just sort of lay it out. What's coming up this year? What's happening in the world of Kyle Stanley, and what's happening in the community?
Well, happening in my world as we're recording this January 26th, I'm waiting for, that call from the next room or a phone call or a text from my wife, because we're expecting our first child. So very excited about that. Madeline Joy Stanley. And that's, a lot of the reason I did transition into this offer is because of just that, because I just said, you know what, if I can make life a little simpler for me so I can be a present dad. The Airbnb business already allows me to do that, but the time that I do put into our communities and the podcast, the YouTube channel, it is a lot of work. And so I'm trying to simplify life a little bit for me right now too. And so there's a little bit of that selfishness behind it, just so I can be a present dad to my future daughter.
Good. Awesome. Brilliant. So if anybody wants to chat to you, wants to send you a message or find like the best place, where's the best place? What's the best social channel? Where do you like spending your time?
Definitely Instagram. So Fearless Kyle on Instagram, and it's only Fearless Kyle. There's no underscores, there's no numbers, there's nothing like that. We got a lot of fakers out there, and they're going to try to sell you crypto and timeshares and all that kind of stuff. Don't do those. Fearless Kyle, all one word, spelled exactly how it sounds.
You go find it. You'll be there. And if you just go into my Instagram and look at the people that I follow is in there, so you are all good, buddy. Appreciate it. Good luck to all the things that are coming up. Wish you as well, and we shall see you when we see you.
Having a blast, gonna get it on the Bruce Lee podcast. Bruce Lee like Bruce Lee, cause it's so hard and the T is loose leaf. Making up those rhymes, don't write it, just do it loosely.